Hundreds of thousands of Americans suffer from strokes each year, but what many of us don't realize is that kids are at a risk for stroke too. Nick Saletti introduces us to one teen who has had one and is now working to raise awareness. The former Penn State assistant football coach was convicted of sexually abusing 10 boys over a period of 15 years. He's now serving a life sentence of 30 to 60 years in prison. An Applebee's waitress in Colorado is handed her own stolen driver's license by an identity thief trying to order drinks. A heads up, if you're packing tuna for lunch today, some popular brands are being recalled. The first is from tuna giant Bumblebee Foods. East Lansing Democratic Senator Gretchen Whitmer says she won't be running against Governor Rick Snyder in 2014. She was a possible contender for the next gubernatorial race. Parts of New England are taking a pounding from a late winter storm. It's dumping near record amounts of snow in some areas. And as Victor Blackwell reports, it's also caused destructive flooding along the Atlantic coast. A mid-Michigan couple is in a Florida hospital recovering from serious injuries from the last lap NASCAR crash Saturday. I met up with family members in Leslie today to see how they're handling the news.
This race had a terrible crash coming to
It sounded like an explosion.
Joyce Leach learned Sunday morning her sister Gayleen and brother-in-law Steve were injured when the 32 car went airborne and smashed into the crowd barrier at the end of Saturday's race.
The noise was just deafening, and she said they had no time to react whatsoever.
Joyce's sister said the debris hit them instantly. Both Steve and Gayleen Johnson were taken to the Halifax Medical Center in Daytona. Her mother says Gayleen was in the ICU for internal bleeding.
She's cut on her arm and has 30 stitches on her arm, and he has 30 stitches in his head.
Gayleen was struck by a 75-pound steel plate off the race car, which then smacked into her husband, knocking him into the next row. But the diehard fans knew the dangers when they walked in.
Any fan that goes there, they know the risks, and it's to a fan, it's worth it.
And the accident hasn't stifled the Johnsons' love of NASCAR.
She wants good seats forever.
The rest of her life.
Yeah, forever.
The couple was touched to find out Tony Stewart refused to celebrate his win after the crash. Stewart is Steve's favorite driver, and Gayleen is going to try to get him to visit her husband at the hospital.
She's
we know
hoping.
Gayleen, though, she'll get it.
She'll make it happen.
We're just learning that Gayleen is now out of the ICU. They're both very bruised and scratched up, but Steve and Gayleen are both expected to make a full recovery. We'll make sure to give you the latest as we know. Lansing Mayor Verge Bernero hopes his State of the City address Monday night will unite Greater Lansing.
To stop competing against each other, Lansing, East Lansing, Delta, Lansing Township.
He says they can't act on their own and expect huge success.
To work together to compete and win on a global basis.
Even though he's recovering from the flu, he's spending time perfecting his speech, saying the message is more important than how he feels.
I think that I will be naturally excited and enthusiastic, and adrenaline will get me through. Adrenaline and some Hall's Mentholyptus. Mayor
Verge Bernero practiced his speech here at City Hall today, but he'll actually be delivering that speech here at the Rio Town train depot Monday night. He says the location makes a great backdrop for his speech because of the growth it represents.
That's a $180 million investment that is hitting Rio Town, not far from downtown Lansing. So that should affect the neighborhoods all around.
The theme of his speech is Lansing Powered Up.
Well, Lansing is powered up. Verge Bernero is getting powered up.
He'll talk about budget issues and crime.
We are not immune to gun violence.
But you won't be hearing any big announcement about foreign investment. During a trip to Italy, the mayor hinted at Italian jobs coming to Lansing.
A company from Italy that does green technology. I'm not prepared to announce it yet. It's imminent.
That announcement will have to wait. In Lansing, Jamie Innes, News 10. 18 pizzas and a veggie spread, but this wasn't your typical college Super Bowl party. This one was for the professors, and they're calling it the Super Ad Bowl.
More than half the audience watching is watching for the advertising and not necessarily interested in the football game.
Nearly 50 members of MSU's advertising and PR faculty packed into the home of Professor Robert Colt to rate the commercials for their 16th year.
All of our advertising professors are really tough critics.
The TV is quiet during the game, but the volume gets cranked for the commercials so they can make the grade. They're scoring them on a couple different things.
Did they really accomplish what they tried to accomplish, and they do it in an entertaining, humorous, or emotional way?
They used to use pen and paper and shouted their scores, but for the past few years, they've gone digital. When each person walked in the door, they were given one of these clickers, which is how they score the different advertising. All they have to do is click on the one that they think will win, and they have instant results.
Everybody rates, and it can be recorded in a computer quickly, and we'll be able to tell in real time who's winning the game, just like you could on the scoreboard.
This year, for the first time, the teachers are including the students, asking for their feedback on Twitter, and even offering extra credit.
These are the types of things we really encourage them to do because they love it. You know, they get excited about it.
They'll compare results with the students on Monday, but for now, they're not announcing their favorites. There's still plenty of game and commercial time left. In Hazlitt, Jamie Innes, News 10.